Hello everyone, this is Donna Valente and on That Sales Show, and I am a executive consultant and a sales performance coach. And here on That Sales Show, what we do is we bring on thought leaders. Today I have a fantastic guest. He's a high energy guy, and I'm super excited to talk a little bit about Joe. Joe was actually a U.S. Army Ranger. He's a graduate of MIT, and Joe is currently a Global Vice President of Channel Sales. And we're going to get Joe to share with us today the 6 pillars of building an effective sales channel. Joe, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I am so excited to have you and feel honored. Thank you for your service to our country. First.
Proudly served. Thank you for mentioning that, and I'm glad to be here.
Oh, awesome. So for getting started, I'd like to first get you to share with us a little bit about what you do at your company, and then I want to start talking about the 6 pillars of channel sales and, you know, start a framework for that so we can have a lively discussion.
Well, it's a great place to start. Thank you. I am a vice president at Keyed Solutions, and it's a software company that does project management software.
Oh, awesome.
And what's interesting about it is it's both in the cloud and it's SaaS. So it takes both of those new nuances to selling that we see in the market and gives us all the challenges we can. So as you know, things are very exciting when they're in the cloud nowadays. Everyone wants to be in the cloud, and the cloud sells, frankly. So when we're out there with partner sales or the customer, people want to know, is it in the cloud? And then the as a service piece. So SaaS, or as a service, is just one of the many things. And we were talking about this before. We've seen this for about the last 5 or 10 years. But anything you're selling as a service is different than the traditional model. Because as a service means it's being billed monthly, or quarterly, or yearly, which means someone can opt out in the next 30 days. So we've got to keep customers pretty darn happy.
Even in business-to-business sales?
Yeah, that's a great point. Even in B2B sales, which is where we live, project management software is strictly for other businesses. So life sciences, pharmaceutical companies, local food chains like Wawa, Walgreens are just a couple of the customers that Keyed Solutions has. And so it's strictly B2B.
Okay.
But they can decide to change if they want in a certain time.
So it's not on a yearly contract, it's month to month, basically?
Well, even if it's yearly, it's still, there's still opt-outs. And let's even say that software as a service, the longest term we do see are annuals. But then there's quarterly, and in some cases, fortunately not at Keyed, but there's monthly. So we have to keep folks happy. And we have to get partners who sell that interested in doing it. And so what was interesting to me is that I've been in sales now for about 20 years. I came out of the Army after a couple of tours in Iraq. And as a Ranger, you understand the value of teamwork. And so everything the Army does, or especially Rangers, we operate as a team. So the team sale is more interesting to me. And I did carry a bag for a pharmaceutical company and then in technology for about 12 years. But then I discovered the channel. And this team sale is so fascinating that I devoted my research to it.
So let's talk a little bit about those 6 pillars.
Okay.
So it's
well, I'll take you to I have 3 boys. They all were good varsity athletes and all went up and out to college. And this is about 3 years ago, so I decided it was time for me to go back and also, since I had spent all those years to get them to good schools, a couple of them went to Johns Hopkins, went to NYU.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's so awesome.
I went to an awesome school in Philly, and graduated in '85 from LaSalle College. Then I wanted to go back and really refine it. And so I'm in technology. I picked the best school that's out there in the land. I hope that doesn't, offend anyone who went to another great school.
Well, yeah, Penn,
Yeah, okay, this is great. I got in the executive program at MIT, and it was just a wonderful experience. And then dedicated my own personal research to building a world-class channel. And I threw down these predictions based on some research and came up with what I think are at least 6 pillars of building a foundation. And I like to use the word pillars too, because it brings to mind, the foundation you need to build a successful organization. So now that brings us to, here's 6 pillars of building a channel. to make it successful. And who's it applicable to? It's applicable to all the partners that may be watching today, and certainly all of the B2B manufacturers out there. So pillar number one, you've got to have a bulletproof product that can be easily packaged. Number two, as the manufacturer, you've got to offer great margins. No one gets out of bed for 10% margin anymore. Number three is we've got to have bulletproof registration. So moving to number four, we've got to have an ability for services. The fifth pillar is that you've got to give the training and a repository of everything for your partner.
Yeah. So what's next?
Number six is just reinvestment. So if you want to have a great partner program, you've got to reinvest mutually.
How do I know as a business when I should be looking for a partner channel?
Such a great question, and the beauty of it is that MIT and probably Wharton and a few other schools have spent so much time looking at this exact question, and you can really graph it pretty easily. So this is going to save several semesters of business school right now just by watching your show.
That?
You graph linearly the effect that salesperson number one has and how much sales he brings in. And then you look at number two when you bring your second salesperson in. And at a certain point, the linear growth tails off. And that's the inflection point when to not just grow linear but geometrically, then you invoke the channel. And so every company is going to get to the spot. After you get to about 30, you realize, I can't cover the world. That's the inflection point. You've got to get the channel in. You can increase by 5x or 10x.
Is that a point too where you recognize, ooh, we, like you said, we don't only have so many feet on the street,
right.
But more importantly, there was a lot of synergy there.
If you can tap into the alliance world, and the business generally calls those alliances, the channel is someone who can sell your product, but alliances are someone who sells to your same customer base. Mm-hmm. And so if you find your alliance partners, that's golden, sharing leads. If I find someone that's selling to the same customer base I am, and we're non-competitive, oh my gosh, that we just found the holy grail. Yeah. Find 5 or 10 of those, and you make your life easier.
Well, now you're talking about the plan. So is it as a channel, the VP of channel sales, are you identifying that? Like, are you going through like a Hoover's or your list and saying these are the perfect customers or potential channel partners? You
just tapped into maybe the $64 question. How do you find your perfect?
64,000, you mean?
64,000. I never
Somebody's
saw that.
got to pay me to get up in the morning.
Partners that are calling on your competitors. Mm-hmm. They're selling your competitors. They've dealt with your competitors. They're calling into your perfect customer base. So there's where the investigation is. But we know we want to find a partner that has deep domain knowledge in our specific area.
Mm-hmm. So why don't we give you this last couple minutes to share a little bit about your company and the benefits are of bringing you into a conversation around project management software and how our friends can get a hold of you.
I'm so happy to be here. I think there's two things that I want to share. One, the company is Keyed In Solutions. It's project management software. Today, all industries making use of project managers. And so companies that have PMOs, and lots of project managers, they need something to do that work on. And literally, it's a collaboration space with a mobile app and all the good stuff that goes with it. That's Keyed In Solutions. I love to talk channel, and I'm available for any of your listeners. All the folks that are watching today, I have the channel success checklist and also those 6 pillars on my website. Which is armyranger@mit.com. It's a mouthful, but we've talked about both things.
Awesome.
Army Ranger at MIT brings together a lot of all my research on building a world-class channel and some other fun things. So the checklist is on there, and so are the pillars.
That's amazing. First, again, thank you so much for your service. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you sharing your success stories with us. Folks, we hope to see you next week. Same channel, same time, Wednesdays at 11 o'clock. Thank you so much and have a great week.